exactly that. Because I was going to say then, because who knows if what's in my head is right, you know? So the only thing I can say to a friend is, this is what I've observed. You do what you will with it. I've even said to you, I've gone, I don't know your lived experience. I don't know their lived experience. This is just what I'm observing, something for you to be aware of. I'll leave it with you and I'll skedaddle, which probably might, again, cause more harm than good, right? When a friend's giving too much of their when are we putting too much of our opinions into other people's relationship? My mother said I shouldn't, with Sarah and Michaela.
Hi everybody, welcome back to My Mother Said I Shouldn't with me, Sarah, health coach, and Kate,
life coach.
And we are sponsored by RO Pictures. Cal is here, our producer.
Hello.
And today I am going to talk about my mother said I shouldn't take my friend's relationship advice.
Are your friends horrible at dating?
Excuse me.
Well, you got it right eventually, Kay.
Now, the reason why I say this is because
it's hard not
this
to
fact,
get offended.
Found this fact. 54% of Gen Zs regret taking their friends' advice in their relationships because they went single and then they regretted making that decision because they took their friends' advice.
46% didn't. I like those odds.
Okay, we can talk about the 46%.
No, I get that. I get that because then when you take other people's advice, it's not coming from something that's inside of you, is it?
And I always think I think it's really important to have those conversations because sometimes I think when you go silent in a relationship, you don't talk about the bad things, but like that's when it can get dark, right?
Well, I wish that I had taken your advice on one particular relationship. I mean, I shouldn't live in regret. Yeah. Like a year before I did, because I was so smitten and so compromised by my emotions. I wasn't seeing the red flags that you saw.
And vice versa. I did the exact same. And literally, you were like, Sarah, major red flags. And I'm like, no, they're not. They're colourful.
But isn't it good you actually both said it to each other? Because there's lots of people I know who hold back.
No, at the same time, we actually went in those relationships at the same time.
We did. We really strangely
and both of us were like, he's not for you.
No.
None of us could
staying there. So it is. So I think it's important for your friends to be aware, to be like sharing not everything, because I don't think you should be sharing. And in relationships, obviously you want to keep certain things between you and your partner. But when there's things you're thinking, I don't know if this is right, and you're hiding it, then maybe there is a red flag there that you're concerned about and you just don't want to share because you think someone will say, that's not right and you probably shouldn't be together. You know, you don't want to hear that.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. So then how can you trust your friend's opinion when you're not being completely open and honest with them? It's like, so it works both ways, doesn't it? So you've got the moments where you don't share certain stuff because you feel ashamed because you know it's not right and they're going to tell you to leave and you don't want to hear that. And then you've got the other side where all you do is complain and you don't share the positive stuff. So the friend doesn't recognize actually they do all of these amazing things because you only use that conversation as an outlet when you need to rant. So the friend's not seeing the whole picture.
And I think that's it. The friends don't see the whole picture because you are the only person that is in that relationship seeing all the small things, all the other things.
But even you're not seeing it all because you're the salience network. You're looking for things to back up your belief systems. That's true. So there's so much information that you're missing.
That is very true. And I suppose that helps when your friends can then say, actually, wait a minute, just to flag this up. I'm flagging this up, think about it. I think that's great. And that's a positive thing. So I suppose it's like taking the information, but then not taking it as complete, okay, well, now that's their opinion. You need to walk away.
But I guess, you know, your friends want to protect you. And the issue as well is not just based on they can't see your relationship, the whole of it, and neither can the people in the relationship. We, like I said, you see certain things that back up your truths, right? But they also come from their personal experience of relationships. So, you know, I have a friend who's very distrusting. So if Tom ever does anything wrong, she's going, fucking, you know,
red flag, red flag.
Yeah, make him stop, Harry. Leave him. You know, whereas I have other friends who would be like sticking up for him and saying, you know, I think of it like this, and what if this were true? You know, so it really depends on what their lived experience is as well. And are they single as well? Do they want you to be single with them?
That's another thing, isn't it? Are they kind of like, oh, okay, well, there's issues. Okay, well, he's just really not right for you, hon.
They want their friend back.
Yeah, let's be single, yeah. Singles Ibiza trip.
They might have their own agenda. And they might not even be consciously aware of it. You know? So it's difficult because you wanna confide and you want advice, but we often don't listen to advice. I know I didn't listen to advice.
But do you know what's interesting though? It's like that feeling of if your friends agree or disagree, if you go against that, it feels wrong. Like, I don't know if you feel it like, so if my friends are saying it's really wrong, you shouldn't go near it, I feel wrong then being in it. So I might still do it, but I still feel, because my friend, like, I'm going against what my social network thinks is right.
Do you think that's because in the past, when you did that, you got burnt? Or do you think that's just something that you've always felt?
I think it's something I've always felt. Yeah. Like if I go against what people think is right, if they think it's right, so then I definitely have that.
And what do you think that fear is? Do you think that fear is like of their judgment, or of you being silly? Like what?
Do you know what I think? Maybe it's there could be part judgment, thinking, well, they're going to judge me for going back, but then I've been working, you know, that a lot of judgment is out the window for me now. Well, not judgment, it's still there, but I've definitely managed to get rid of a lot of it. But it probably is the fear that, oh my goodness, what happens if what they're saying comes true? Where, you know, obviously you still go into it thinking with the hope that that's not going to become true. But yeah, I think it could be that.
So it's that doubt.
Yeah, it creates doubt in your mind because the people that you trust and love are saying this is going to happen. And if your heart says something else, you're working against it and you're going against that advice.
And I guess they can never know that this is going to happen. So if a loved one or a friend is saying, this is going to happen, then I guess you can kind of, hopefully in the moment, go, you don't know, you're not a fortune teller. And if you do know what's going to come up in the future, tell me the lottery numbers. Because that is more useful.
Right. I mean, what happens if your friend was a card reader though?
Tarot card reader.
Yeah. Like
depends if you believe in that stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we won't go down that route. Tarot cards.
Do you love a tarot reader?
That. We should do one on tarot cards actually, and how dangerous that could be.
Dangerous?
Yeah, because I think it would be dangerous. Because obviously I've had a tarot, and when they say
things and then you're expecting these negative things to happen.
Or when they say, don't miss this opportunity, do everything, because don't say no, say yes to everything, because there's going to be one opportunity that comes up that's going to change your life. Sorry.
That was so specific.
I've had it. And I was like, so now I have to say yes to everything? And then
Which is not a habit I would encourage.
No, not at all. So yeah, that's a tricky one.
So I got the opposite advice in my reading. I got told that there will be lots of opportunities, and to make sure that I say yes to the right one and no to the other.
Then how do you know what's right and what's wrong? Like, thank you, fortune teller. Now I've got to think about, is it right? Is it wrong? And have the panic of, there's more panic there. I would be over the decision.
But that links back to what we're talking about now. Is it right? Is it wrong? And there is only your right, isn't there? In a relationship, there is only your right. And no matter, I'll be honest, no matter what you, my mum, anyone says, if I don't want to leave that relationship, I'm not going to go. Yeah. It has to come from me. I've learned that. Not necessarily from my heart. That sounds...
I said that
sounds... All right. I didn't... I only saw the hand.
It's for the camera. I don't know if it's going that low.
Well, mine is a mixture of like heads, shoulders,
knees and toes.
The whole thing. Yeah, which
heads,
is good.
Heart, gut. Like, I feel like, you know, I love Tom more than anything. If he cheated on me, my heart would want to stay. My head would say go, and I would go. I would go 100%. purely because of what you touched on in the last episode, and that trust would be gone, and I would change as a human.
Yeah.
That I don't want to become that person that needs to check his phone or needs to micromanage him or what. I can't be that person. That's going to compromise who I am, and it's also going to compromise the relationship that I want. And also, his values do not align with mine if he goes out and does that.
Yep.
So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, how many people, if they're being really honest, have followed their friend's advice when deep down they wanted to do something different? I don't think I've ever done that. I think when I've chosen to leave because it came from me, not from anyone else. And that's what I have noticed in myself. And so now when I'm giving friends advice, and you even know this, I'll say, nothing I say, I don't believe is going to change your actions. I believe it has to come from you. All I can do is make you think about things in a different way, which could change your actions if it cements, like if you go away and kind of, analyse that.
I was going to say, it opens up the conversation in your own mind. So it makes you think about things that you might not have thought about, or kind of reflects, okay, well, this is what's happening. What do you, it reflects it back onto you, I suppose, in a way. So you can see that rather than just living in a bit of a bubble, just kind of ignoring it when someone actually brings it up to say, okay, well, just so you know, notice this, I'm leaving it with you, see how that hits, see how that lands with you, how you feel about that. You might not have actually, maybe you've recognised it subconsciously, but you've not properly recognised it. And that can be really handy.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly that. Because I was going to say then, because who knows if what's in my head is right, you know? So the only thing I can say to a friend is, this is what I've observed. You do what you will with it. I've even said to you, I've gone, I don't know your lived experience. I don't know their lived experience. This is just what I'm observing, something for you to be aware of. I'll leave it with you and I'll skedaddle, which probably might, again, cause more harm than good, right? When a friend's giving too much of their when are we putting too much of our opinions into other people's relationship?
I think it's when people are so strong-minded as well, and they're just like, they tell you. So they say, no, leave. You should leave. That's it. Done. You should leave. Or I would never be accepting that. Nope, done. And it's like, well, you actually don't know what you would do because you're not in that situation. And if you've been in that situation and you've learned, then okay, cool, maybe I get it. I get why maybe you're so very like strong-minded about it. But I do feel that people who haven't lived it decide to push it a bit, can push it. Certain people can push it a bit further. If they were in that situation themselves, they just really don't know what they would have done.
Right. And that is so interesting, isn't it? So I think you've had experiences before where people have told you to do certain things and not accept certain behaviours, and then they've gone and done it themselves.
Yeah. So
it's that element of like someone you care about, you see them at risk and you want to protect them, but then you don't often protect yourself.
And that's a crazy thing. And it's like, people that love you, it is about protection, isn't it? So when they see someone hurting you or potentially hurting you, or think, oh my, this could go this way and I don't want to see them heartbroken, you are going to say everything, right? You're wanting to hopefully get them out of that situation. You want to save them. But I suppose at the end of the day, that person has to, a lot of the time, you have to experience it to live it yourself and realise this isn't for me. Like my second relationship, when, I went back, I genuinely never thought I'd ever go back to a cheat. And I went back. I blew my mind. But now that I've done it.
Mind.
It did blow, right? Everybody that knew me, I was like, I would never do this. But that situation wrapped me up. But now I know I would never do it. And I think it's like learning through your experiences. And I suppose, it's actually like my dad he'd always try and protect us from that. He'd always like double check everything 3 times. Don't need to try and give us advice. So we didn't go through the pain first. So he was like, I'll save you from the pain of the experience, and I'll help you get to the final result. But actually, that journey, you grow as a human and you learn so much about yourself and about what you want, more than what you would if someone just handed you the result, right? So I think in that sense, you would never want, there's certain things when it comes to abusive relationships and things, oh my goodness, you would never want anybody, you don't want anybody to go through that, and you hope that they'd be able to walk away before it got to physical abuse and things, or emotional abuse.
Emotional's worse.
You really hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, there's a lot of times when I do feel that the experience is a positive thing.
But even if it does though, like from my experience with that, from the abusive relationship that I was in, that taught me so much about myself. Like without that, I wouldn't have realised some of the really maladaptive behaviours that I was doing and coping mechanisms that I was doing in terms of like avoidance and distraction to relieve myself of like uncomfortable emotions and uncomfortable thoughts in the way that I perceived myself. That relationship, not saying that I would ever want anyone to go through anything like that, it taught me a lot. It taught me a hell of a lot. And it was the relationship that you were telling me, get out this, but you could see the warning signs and I couldn't. And I wonder if I'd have got out when you said, would I be the person I am now? Like, I feel like I had to go through that journey to get to where I am now. I personally did. And to have that kind of reawakening, and it was a reawakening, like, oh God, it was bleak afterwards. It was awful, like some of the darkest, gloomiest days of my life. But without that, I wouldn't have been on this journey.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to overcome some of these barriers. I don't even think I would be in the relationship that I am in now with Tom. I don't think I'd been married if I hadn't have. But then again, at the same time, it's kind of how you approach that breakup afterwards, isn't it? It's what you take away. What's the learning that happens? If I had taken away in that moment, there's a problem with me. Which to be fair, that was an issue. I was like, there must be something wrong with me in order to allow the things to happen. But then I went on this journey of, okay, how do I not let that happen again? Like, what do I need to do? Who do I need to be in order to stop that from happening again? But I suppose I could have easily, and then I took time out, not dated for a while and focused on me. I needed to sit with the emotions and heal and learn. But I could have easily gone back into another relationship because I needed to feel desired and wanted after feeling so low and feeling so abused.
So it could have went either way.
Yeah, there was so much shame afterwards. It could have gone either way. And I understand the people that go back into those abusive relationships. I totally get it. I 100% get it. Because you will do anything to rid yourself of that shame and that guilt, because it's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
But I think the amazing thing from that is that you came out and you learned from it, and you've now found, okay, this is the positives that I have gained. Like, it was obviously an awful relationship. You'd never want to go through that experience again. But the positives that have come out of that now in your life, what you would hope is, though, that if that hadn't happened in your life, it'd be interesting the learning, the journey that you went on, other things that could have helped you get to where you are now as well. So I suppose that was the thing that made the change for you.
But they say that it takes, like, that's when the biggest change happens, when the pain of staying the same is worse than change.
Really?
Yeah, when the pain of staying the same is worse than the pain of change, you'll start to take action. And for me, that was it. I was at such a low. I knew I needed to change something. And I had been in denial about the way I perceived myself. I had an air of fake confidence. I had a low self-esteem. You know, it manifested in all sorts of ways. I remember when we first met, I used to peek the sides of my skin. You used to say, "You sure you don't have anxiety?" And I'd be like, no, don't have any anxiety. I feel fine. It was always a mask. It was always masking like this deep feeling of inadequacy, which ultimately allowed me to, or let me get into a relationship with someone who would reaffirm that belief that I wasn't worthy, that I didn't deserve to be treated well.
Yeah. Right?
So, I mean, we got really deep then.
We did, but I think it's great to hear that, though, that if anybody is, if you were feeling like that and you're in a relationship feeling like that, then you try and do your own work, self-development
it's hard,
work.
and this is why it's really difficult for friends to get people out of abusive relationships.
Yeah.
Because that abusive relationship was reaffirming to me that I wasn't good enough. Not to mention the dopamine bloody highs and lows that you're on in that relationship. The dependency.
But it chips away at you over time.
Absolutely. So it's really difficult to leave. And it's really difficult for it must have been difficult for you watching that.
So it's really difficult because you can see especially when you can see it in the partner. You're like, I know exactly what you're doing here. but it's out of your control. There's nothing you can do, because if you were to push too hard, I could have lost you. I mean, we would always find our way back together. But I could have lost you in that, because he had so much control.
We nearly did, didn't we?
Yeah, we nearly did, yeah. And he was trying very hard for that to happen. Very hard. So I think there is, in that situation, that is such a difficult balance that a friend has on the outside. But I know when you say about it's hard to get out, with that, the one that I went back with after the cheat, I completely lost myself and built up so many barriers that I really didn't know who I was anymore without that person.
I was the same.
Yeah, and I felt really lost, and that was, I really struggled to get out of that. But what was really interesting in me, my defense mechanism was, okay, well, every time you hurt me and I cry, then, or if my heart is broken, a brick was built. And every time I kept building a brick after brick after brick, until literally I had a full wall, and I was like, well, I can't feel anything anymore, so I can now actually leave. And that helped me leave. So that was my get out thing, and it helped. But I suppose that people that if they don't build up that doesn't work for them, and they're stuck in that, and maybe they do have friends that are trying to get them out, but they don't really know how to. I suppose that must be such a tricky thing. You've managed to get out, but the people that are still stuck.
And the only reason I left, because it just got so bad, I was like, I actually thought it was gonna, like, I thought I was gonna die. I genuinely did. I was like, it got to the point where I was like, this is not good at all. But it goes the other way as well. So like, you've got friends that will try and highlight the issues in the relationship, but you've also got friends that will go, don't think the grass is always greener, and try and keep you in a relationship, especially family as well.
Well, my mum did that with my first relationship. She said, the grass would always be greener. But it was my very first relationship, my very first boyfriend. And I think she thought, because he was a lovely guy, nice, like he looked after me. And then, she thought, oh, it might not be greener. Well, my goodness, mum, it was flourishing. Flourished.
The garden of Eden.
But so it is interesting. Listen to your friend's advice, and I suppose we'll put it out there. Have our audience, have you guys decided to make any decisions on your friend's advice, and did you regret it? Was it a positive thing? And do you have, I suppose, any friends and relationships that you think they shouldn't be in, but you don't know how to approach that or what to do about it? It'd be great to hear your thoughts and opinions. But thank you for coming back and listening to us today. Please subscribe, share if you like it. And thanks for listening.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.